Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Shelly McKinney. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of MOMnetwork. MOMnetwork is an acronym which stands for Mothers of Muslim. And what we do at MOMnetwork, we empower, engage, and establish programs for moms and their families. So one of the programs that we do, we have membership, or actually the way we're structured, have individual membership. And we also have what we call community partners. So we're happy to have one of our community partners on today, Sonia with Kumon, who is going to talk a little bit about strategies for your children during the summer to have, as we say, have a smarter summer. I'm going to pass it now to Sonia so she can introduce Patel.
All right, thanks, Shelly. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sahna Nyan, and I am the instructor and owner of the Kumon in Rockville, Maryland. So today we just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what it is that we do at the center. I have my lead math instructor, Rahul Patel, who will be joining me and doing the presentation with me as long. And we just kind of want us to inform you guys who are not particularly familiar with Kumon and other after-school programs, you know, what we do, and hopefully how we can help your kids during this summer and after summer as well when they return back to school.
Great. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday with us. My name is Rahul, and I've been in the world of education for about a decade now. I started my career out as a teacher and then did training for teachers in remote learning, which I'm sure is a term all of you have heard of, as that's how school has been done for the last few months across the country. I currently serve homeless students and their needs. In addition to talking about the Kumon Method, we'll also give you some insight into what school will look like in the fall, and how you can ensure continued learning at a high level, both during the summer and during the fall months as we get back into normalcy.
All right,
So
great.
before we start into our presentation, we just kind of wanted to think about some questions. So take a look at these three questions. 1, what is the formula for the volume of a cone? 2, what is the quadratic formula? And 3, between what two whole numbers is the square root of 150? So we do want to do a little interactive thing, but it may not be possible. So for now, we just want you guys to take a second, take a minute, and just see if you can answer these questions. Do you know what the formula for the volume of a cone is without obviously Googling it? And do you know what the quadratic formula is, again, without Googling it? And can you come up with what two whole number the square root of 150 is?
Shelly's shaking her head no, she can't.
And there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that in a second. Great.
Give it a shot, Shelly, let's see.
Yeah, Shelly, can you answer any of these? Put you on the spot?
No.
Well, how about this?
Bring my engineer student up here to help. No, I'm going to go off of mute so you don't embarrass me.
Great. So let's jump into why we may not know as adults, why we may not know and remember the formula for the volume of a cone and the other questions. So there's something in education called the hierarchy of learning. And this is what you're looking at. You're looking at the hierarchy of learning. And in America and in most places across the world, math kind of stays at the bottom two categories, where we are teaching our children to remember formulas and just simply understanding the formulas at a very superficial level. And so when you do that, what ends up happening is you remember it for the short term. You don't commit it to your long-term memory. And so what we see is the things we learn in our math classes throughout our public school education and even a lot of our college education, we don't tend to remember as adults. And that's exactly why most of us have a hard time being able to remember the formula of a cone. And so today, through our presentation, hopefully we'll be able to show you guys how Kumon can help take the math learning to the apply and analyze, and how you as the parent at home can do things to push into the create and evaluate. And when students are in the create and evaluate, that's when the learning sticks long term, right? And that's where we always want our children to be learning, because that's where the learning stays with us for a longer period of time. Cool. Now, before we go into the Kumon method, we also wanted to give you guys some insight into what school is going to look like in the fall. So in the fall, and I'm sure most of you, if you're staying up to date with your school districts and the information that's coming out from your schools, you probably have already heard this, right? So this is an image I found online from the Boulder Valley School District. Now, most, if not all, school districts are following this same format as we come back to school in the fall. So when we start school back in September or late August, it's going to be a hybrid model. So what that means is our children are either going to spend the morning or the afternoon at school, and then they'll spend the other half at home. Or some school districts, I think Montgomery County, has decided that they're going to spend a few days at school, the whole day at school, and the other days they'll spend at home doing remote learning, which is what they've been doing for the last couple of months. And so most of them are going into a hybrid model. And they're going to keep analyzing what's happening with the surge in certain states. And if things get even worse, then we'll move right back to what we've been doing for the last couple of months. Does anyone have questions about that? That was a lot of information. And if you have questions, and if you know how to use the chat feature, feel free to put the chats in there. Or
Okay.
put the questions in there. Great. Now, it's really important that during a time like this, parents have to step up to the plate and sort of be the co-teacher and supplement your child's learning. And these are just a couple of things that we feel that you can do at home. So one, it's really important to focus on your child's emotional intelligence. There's a lot of research that shows that people that are successful as adults, they're really in tune with their emotions. And emotional intelligence is not something that's on the curriculum of schools. So this is something that children usually learn at home. And now that our children are with us for a large period of the time, it's really important that we understand what emotional intelligence is so that we can focus on it for our children. The second thing you can do is you can do projects together. Project-based learning is the best way of teaching students. Project-based learning, when you look at that hierarchy of learning, sits at the top two categories, the create and evaluate. And so doing projects is a great way to help push your students' learning and education at home. And then finding fun ways to practice what has been learned so that your children don't feel like they're trapped in a school at home. That's the last thing you want to make them feel like when they're at home. So you want to find fun ways to practice. The other thing you can do, as we know, lots of things are going on in the world. COVID, racial tension, all of these things allow for a great conversation, a great discussion to ensure that our children, both our young children and our older children, can understand and appreciate what's happening. And then the last thing is focusing on things that they're never going to learn in school, which is cultural awareness, both about our own cultures, but also about cultures that they might not be exposed to. Both of those are very important. So, and then the last thing, Kumon and things like Kumon are a great way to sort of supplement what's happening at school. So that's how you can supplement your child's learning, both during the summer, but also as we head into the fall and we're doing the hybrid model. So now I'm going to pass it on to Sana, who's going to talk about the Kumon method.
All right, great, thanks. All right, so a lot of people, when they think about an after school program, they think about, oh, it's tutoring. But here at Kumon, we don't like to think of it as an after school tutoring, but more like an academic enrichment type of program. So the first step is when you want to sign your child up for Kumon, we give them a placement test. So for example, you have 2 fifth graders that you are assuming they're going to start on the same level. But the thing is, all kids learn at different speeds, different levels, and they learn different things at school. So what we like to do is give them a placement test, which lets me know exactly how long they took to complete the test, one, their concentration level, and of course the score that they received on the test. With all of that information, I'm able to determine a starting point for them, which is going to be different from majority of the kids that come to the center. And the reason why that is important is because we want to make sure that when they start off at Kumon, they start off at a level that's just right for them and something they're comfortable doing. Eventually, they will get to the hard things, but we don't want to make it hard up just right from the beginning. We want them to be able to understand what's being given to them, and importantly, take their time to understand the concept. Not just do the work and get a right or wrong answer, but understand why they're doing it. Okay, so that's the very first thing. Like, Kumon is not supposed to be a tutoring type of program, but more of an academic enrichment and supplemental program that they add on to their schoolwork as well. And all the instruction is individualized. You're not going to find that when you come into my classroom that every single body has the same work. Everyone has different assignments that are assigned to them and the different work load that they are given on a daily basis, which is very good, because if I am on a level that's way above what I'm supposed to be doing in my school, and then you are on a level that's below, we are not going to be able to compete by starting off on the same level. It's just not going to make sense academically, and it's not going to help either one of us out. So all the levels are individualized, and all of the instructions are based on that particular student and what level they scored and the score they received on the placement test. And also Kumon is self-learning. We teach out of the center twice a week. So we offer 2 subjects, which is math and reading. So when you come into the center, we'll do about 30 minutes of math on a daily basis and 30 minutes of reading as well. And we want to keep that same time for when they go home. So when you come in, we help you figure out the assignments at the center, and then we give assignments to you at home that you practice 5 days a week. And with that, they are learning how to do it on their own. They're allowing themselves to make mistakes and fix it on their own as well, which is allowing them to be be more confident in their work and not have to depend on a teacher or a tutor to work with them with every single assignment. And eventually you'll see that when they start to see new assignments or new work that they're not particularly familiar with, they'll be more willing to go after it and more confident to actually, try it versus waiting for someone to just give them the answer automatically. And the worksheets are very small worksheets. You'll see that on average, kids do about maybe 10 pages on a daily basis. So we don't want them to spend too much time every single day doing Kumon. We like to limit it to only about 1 hour. That is if they're doing math and reading, but if they are doing one subject versus the other, it'll only be about 30 minutes a day, 20 to 30 minutes that they'll be spending on the actual worksheets. And we want to keep it at that pace, because anything longer than that, it becomes a burden, and you'll find that they don't want to do the work anymore. And also the Kumon instructors, hold on a second. Can you guys see me? Okay. All right. So, all right, I think I'm good now. And the Kumon instructors, you're not gonna see that every Kumon you go to has a different type of instructor. We are all different. We are not the same. The same type of instructors that you go. We all have an individual class. We have an individual way of teaching, and then I kind of find that works better for the children, because if you have a particular instructor who, for some reason, they are not, they don't work well with, there's so many Kumons that you're able to try different instructors with to see which one works better for your child. And I find that me and Wahoo working together. Hi, hello?
Yep, we can hear you. Sana? Wait, we can't hear you.
She's on mute. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but if you can, Sana, if you can move over a little bit, I think as you start talking, you slide.
Okay. Can you guys see me now?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Slide
Okay.
Wait, see, now you're off.
I'm
Yeah.
off now?
Slide more to the right.
There you go.
Okay.
Good?
Then, yeah.
Okay. I'm on the phone and I have my laptop, so that's the reason I'm kind of like shifting.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So I also wanted to, the last point that I had about the Kumon method is like the instructors as well. We all go through a very long and extensive program before we can be instructors. And we also do the worksheets on a daily basis. So everything that we assign, we know how it feels that you know, for the child to do it. Even like something as simple as 1+1s, we have to do it and turn it into like the Kumon field consultant, just so we are familiar with the worksheets and we're familiar with the work that we're giving out. Okay, so that's basically the Kumon method. Everything is individualized and not everyone's doing the same work. And Kumon is not supposed to be like a grade letter hanging over your head. Like, kids can be confident doing it. You're allowed to make mistakes, which is the reason why we're here. So you can learn the reason why you made that mistake, and then we teach you how to fix it. And it's not supposed to be stressful at all. Like, if you have someone that's taking longer than you know, usual to finish the package, that's okay with us, because as long as they're learning it, that's all that is important. We don't want it to be something that's too stressful, something that's taking way too long for them to understand. They can kind of take their own time to understand the material and do it at their own pace.
And a common misconception about Kumon is that it's just math. It's actually math and reading comprehension, and we really believe that the two go hand in hand, right? In order to answer any math question, you have to understand what the question's even asking in the first place. And so the math and reading complement each other very well. Great, thank you, Sana, for that synopsis of the Kumon method. Now, Sana mentioned this in the Kumon method, and this is something that we focus on a lot. With our Kumon specifically, we train our instructors and tutors to focus on the why. And so I want to give you guys a quick example of what I mean by that. And this is by focusing on the why. And this is something that we encourage all of you all to do at home, as well as you're helping your children improve with their math skills, is focusing on the why. That's going to help to take the math learning from the bottom two categories, with the remember and understand from the hierarchy of learning, to the next two categories of analyze and apply. And so here's a quick example, right? So here we have a simple algebraic equation, x plus 3 equals 5. We want to solve for x, right? So step one, it's simple. You just subtract the 3 from the left side, and then whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So you have to subtract 3 from the right side. So 5 minus 3, x equals 2. And that's your answer, right? Now, if you memorize these steps, you can pretty much get this question right on any standardized state test or SATs or whatever. Now, the problem with that is that it doesn't teach a child to analyze why they should subtract 3, right? They turn into almost like robots if you just teach them the steps. And so we want to push back against that, right? And so at our center, our instructors are instructed to ask why. Why do you subtract 3 from the left side and not add or multiply or divide? Now, I'm sure if I ask some of you guys, why you subtract 3, some of you may be able to tell me, and some of you may not be able to tell me. And that goes back to how you learned a simple algebraic equation. Now, the why behind it is, well, what's the goal, right? The goal is to isolate the x, to get x by itself, which means that whatever is attached to the x, I got to get away from the x. And so when you look at the question, the thing that's attached to the x is the 3. Well, how is it attached to the x? Through addition. So how do I remove the positive 3 from the left side? Well, the only way to do that, the only way to get it to a 0, is to subtract a 3. And that's why we subtract a 3, right? And so all of these, the asking of the why helps to push and helps to push the learning of the math for our students. And then that'll push them into that apply and analyze. And what that does is it helps to really hone in on the math learning, and that way they'll remember it for a much longer period of time than just that class. And again, combining this with the Kumon reading allows a student to both build their arithmetic skills, but also their reading comprehension skills. Now, a couple of other things that set us apart. Our focus on the soft skills. school and most Kumons and most tutoring centers, they focus on the hard skills, right? Like how to do math. But for us, it's really important that we focus on the soft skills, because there's a lot of research that shows that adults that are successful in adult life, it's because of the soft skills, not too frequently because of the hard skills. And so the three big soft skills that we focus on at our center is problem solving and reasoning. And so we do that with the math, the asking of the why, resilience. And we do that because we only give students just as much as they need to move forward. But we really want them to get the answer, and we build that resilience in them. And then the last one is collaboration. And this is something that they see because of what Sun is going to talk about, how we collaborate with parents, how we collaborate with one another, and how we work and interact with students.
Great. So we kind of want to, what me and Rahul kind of have in mind is we want to build like a Kumon community. We, of course, is a tutoring program, like academic enrichment program, but we want to make sure it's part of like your daily life, something you guys can be in a long time and actually see results in. So one thing that I kind of wanted to do was just like have a monthly newsletter for every single month where we'll highlight different events that we have coming up, highlight students of the month or student of the month, whoever is working excellent or whatever it is that they're doing. Kind of want to, give props to that particular student, have that really nice picture out in the front and a little bit about the students and like just like different days. So if, for example, schools are going to be closed that particular day, it was going to be a half day, we will also highlight that on the newsletter, as well as show what we're giving for prizes. Because one thing that we do at the center, we do something called Kumon Bugs, where for every single day that a child completes an assignment, we'll give them 5 Kumon Bugs. And then once you accumulate your Kumon Bugs, you can use that to buy prizes that we'll be offering from the center that we'll also put in the newsletter as well. We'll either be sending that out either digitally or just handing it out, either mail digitally or handing it out to the students who are coming to the center for them to take home. And another thing would be consistent progress reports. I really want to make it a habit to give progress reports every 2 months. I know schools wait every quarter, but I want you parents to see how well your child is doing and what areas I like to focus on by giving you, just keeping you informed as much as possible and letting you know what they're going to be learning come the next semester, come the next chapter, and where they are at that particular level. And the last thing will be building a Kumon community. Shelly had mentioned that she does a lot of events. We kind of went through some of the events that she does, and I would love to be a part of those and bring the Kumon kids in along with like the MOMnetwork that you guys have, and just kind of share different thoughts, like brainstorm and have different like collaborations and just have different events together as a community. Okay. And then, so if there's different ways to connect with us. So anyone who, right now we're doing a lot of online classes, as Rahul mentioned. But in order for us to kind of see who wants to do like the physical classes and ones who want to do like the Zoom classes, you can give us a call. The phone number is right here. You guys can see it. It's 301-795-4224. I am at the center all of the time from Monday to Friday and some Saturdays as well, from like 9 o'clock to 7 p.m. So give us a call. If I'm not at the center, you can call after 7 as well, and it will get forwarded to me. Leave a voicemail, and I'll be able to answer any questions that anyone might have. Email is the best way to connect with me and reach out to me. So I always check emails on a daily basis. Maybe every 2 hours, I will check the email. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to email us at kingfarm@ikumon.com. You can follow us on Instagram, where we'll be posting a lot of content. We made it up it's fairly new. So we're still working on the Instagram, but that's the Kumon King Farm Instagram page. And also follow us on Facebook at Rockville-King Farm, where we'll also be posting content and a lot of information that, a lot of parents might want to find over there. Okay?
And I'll leave this up for like 15 seconds. And we have something for you all that you can do at home as well. So I'm going to give you guys 15 seconds if you want to write the number down or the email. And I'm sure Shelly will send it around as well after. Perfect. So actually, we just wanted to leave you all with some things that you can, in addition to what I talked about earlier, these are some like direct things that you can do at home. One of the best ways that I've seen helping students with young students with fractions and decimals and percentages and things like that is cooking and baking. Having them measure ingredients, asking them the simple why question. So now you can get into some of the science of cooking, right? Like, why does gas heat things up? Why do you have to heat things up to cook them? These questions start to get your children to cognitively push what they already know. Creating fun and exciting competitions amongst the families. Include yourself. Don't just make this about the kids, right? You can write a story. You can have math and reading competitions like spelling bees, geography bees, or multiplication competitions. You can create recipes as well with your children, right? And have them do all the measurements and things like that. And then whatever else your family enjoys, creating sort of fun, exciting competitions out of those, you'll start to see improvement in your child's learning. Right? And then the thing I can't stress more is positive reinforcement. When your children do things that are good, you have to make sure that you compliment it, right? Because that's how all of us improve what we do through positive reinforcement. And so next time your children do something great, make sure to observe it and compliment it. So we just wanted to leave you all with a couple of things that you can do right away. So
especially right now that everyone is having, like, it's been a very tough adjustment for them to kind of switch from going to physical school and having to do everything online. So if your child is doing it on a regular basis, getting their work done at the time that they have to do it, that's a big thing, like, because they're not used to it. When the whole COVID thing happened, it was tough for all of us as adults, let alone the students as well. So that will be, just positivity, like the world style, like, make sure you're always complimenting, positive reinforcements, and even little rewards here and there. But they get excited about the Kumon bugs, to the point that they are making sure they do their work on a daily basis and try their best at it. So that's also very important. And I did also share with Shelly the Kumon July Bingo, where every single day of the month you have something different to do with your child. So I'm going to be sending that to her as well for anyone who doesn't have it. That's also something you can use, either print it out, put it on your fridge, and try to do as many things on there for the month of July. And it's fun too. It's fun little things, like some of it involve going out, planting plants, doing little competitions. So I find it fun. So I think you guys will find it fun as well.
Great. So if there's any questions.
Yeah, this is the time for questions and answers. If anyone just wants to either, take yourself off mute and ask the question, or just put it in the chat. I'll be looking to see.
Shelly, I think you're on mute.
I keep talking. You guys missed a whole bunch of stuff now. I posted the bingo, and my son made homemade pizza. So I think that's
fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, the bingo is cool. I do have a question as people are starting. A lot of, as you were talking, I can't remember which one of you said it, is that I think it was Tanya that said that Kumon is not just a tutoring program, it's an enrichment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just thinking, I homeschooled my daughter, and I wonder if, as many parents probably are thinking, maybe instead of not sending my kids back to school, because with everything going on, maybe I focus on homeschooling my children. And
absolutely,
homeschooling, as I was going through the math, I was thinking, could you substitute Kumon for math and English? Like they just
absolutely, yeah. Because the way that Kumon worksheets are designed, you have to do a particular level before learning the next level. So for example, before you get into multiplication, you need to learn how to add and subtract, right? So every level is in order. You can definitely substitute it with whatever you guys, the curriculum is for homeschooling, because it goes all the way from kindergarten level to high school, math and reading. So what they are going to be learning in high school is, in middle school, whatever type of school, is what the Kumon worksheets focus on.
Yeah, and to add to that, by doing like if parents are deciding to move to homeschooling, you don't have the pressure of state testing. And so what that allows you to do is it allows you to improve your math teaching from the bottom two categories of the remember and understand from the hierarchy of learning. And it allows you to go to create and evaluate, which is where the best learning takes place. So Kumon, along with some other strategies that we can supplement if parents let us know that they're homeschooling, you'll actually end up with a much better and more rigorous
curriculum. I would actually think so, because I had, my daughter was in Islamic, well, my kids were in Islamic school, and then I transferred them. One went to public school and the other I homeschooled. And what I found is that my daughter, who was homeschooled, moved at speed, right? And was able to graduate at 16, because a lot of the time that's spent in school, sometimes idle time, right? And when I'm listening, what you're saying is that the children are actually moving at their own speed. So after they finish, from what I'm gathering, after you're finished, you just kind of move and move and move. So you're just at your own place. So I think, I mean, as a, I'm just thinking, I have an 18-year-old who just graduated from high school and a 20-year-old, so I don't have students in school, but just thinking back to how my kids worked, that something like this would probably have benefited them, because they're learning their own speed.
Exactly. So when they finish a level, we'll give them an achievement test. Then once they pass it, they will get moved on to the next level. And that's the reason why a lot of our students in the center are advanced, because a lot of the things that they'll be learning next year, they already did it this summer in Kumon. So that you see that when they get to school, they're like, oh, piece of cake, this is easy for me because I already did this a couple months ago in Kumon. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
And is that the same? I know you touched on the math. How does the reading work?
The reading works exactly the same as well. So we'll, it's the same thing. Like, you have to kind of learn how to spell certain words before you can put them in context, and, and use certain vocabs as well. So the reading as well does progress from kindergarten level all the way to grade 12. Like, we'll start off with a little bit of like filling in the blanks, teaching them how to use, like, spell certain words. And now it jumps into put this word in this blank to complete a sentence. Or what's another word for this? So it's a lot of comprehension when it comes to the reading. They're not just reading just to read, they actually understand. We are making them stop and, answer certain questions based on what they just read in the previous passage.
Yeah, it forces children to actively read versus passively reading, which is when you're reading for leisure, you're passively reading, right? Like, you're just not really like asking questions as you're reading. The Kumon reading pushes you to constantly ask questions as you're reading.
Nice. So just another question. I'll just keep asking questions until someone asks. But how do you fare students when they get to the point of SAT and PSATs?
With the SAT, the way the worksheets are designed, especially the higher level math and reading, a lot of the things that you would see in the SAT are covered in the Kumon text. Yes, so if they are doing, for example, the SAT in high school starts off on level, I want to say level G in Kumon. So if you have a student or your child is doing level G, whatever grade they're on, you're going to see that the same material that is covered in the SAT and the ACT is similar to what they are learning at Kumon as well.
Yeah, we have I believe she's in 4th grade, either the 4th or 6th grade, but she's doing 11th grade math material.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and she's understanding the why, right? And so the thing about the SATs and the ACTs is that you don't need to teach to the test for those tests, because they're aptitude tests, right? So if you those two, both the ACT and the SATs, then you just need to practice common questions, right? And so the reading helps to make students into readers. When you look at the passages that are on the SATs and the ACTs, most of them are passages where you have to constantly ask questions as you're reading, right? Because you have like a set of questions that you're going to answer. And when you get really good at active reading, you actually you can predict the questions that'll come up. And so you already answered them in your head as you're reading the passage, and then you'll see that exact question show up and like, oh, you know the answer. And so the best way to really prepare for the SATs and the is to focus on the skills that are associated, not just doing a bunch of practice questions.
Right. Right.
Yep.
No, I like the ask the why. I think, you know, I think we're taught just to not ask why. Like we just
Exactly.
memorize. So I appreciate what Kumon is. And as Sonia and I have spoken, I was so attracted to this and to her only because Kumon and programs like Kumon is something that we kind of don't understand the importance of them and the investment, right? Because there is investment that pays off in the end. And the interesting part is not everyone gets that opportunity. So,
Exactly.
and that's why, because for whatever reason, maybe it be financially or just not understanding the richness of it. Like you're thinking it's a tutoring program, or you're thinking that, oh, my kid can figure it out, like can figure it out. But a lot of people who are successful are using programs like this. They're not doing it on their own. And we're putting so much pressure on children, especially, I don't know if it is in Maryland, but I can speak to the Fairfax area, the stress of the competition in this area is so strong. We have to realize that they're not doing it alone. They have resources like this. They've made the investment early. But that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely, yeah, right on, exactly.
And when you think about if a family member has some sort of health risk, right? You don't try to figure it out on your own. What do? You go to the experts. You go to a doctor. You go and try to figure it out with an expert. And so learning is the same way. And it's important. I'm sure you've all experienced this, having a variety of different teachers, right? Sometimes just better than other teachers. And there's a bunch of reasons why that is, but it's specific to that. And so all learning is the same way. And it's really important when you decide like one that you want to enroll your children, or whichever other learning center or tutoring or whatever it is that you decide on. It's important that you make sure that they are both focusing on the why, and they are aware of the science of education.
Yeah, and I can even attest to this. As an adult, when they were making us do the worksheets in training, there was so many things. Of course, I know how to do it, but there was so many vocab and math problems that I completely forgot. And I'm like, oh, wow, like I used to know how to do this, but the Kumon package really helped me to retain so much information. Like, and I even made my mom do it, because like she struggles sometimes with a little bit of memory and things. And she does the Kumon package as well. And it's fun for her. It's like a challenge for her. So you don't have to be a child or a student to come into Kumon. Like even as adults, doing a package will help you remember. It will help you, things that you forgot and things you haven't done in so many ages. It will start to come back to you like that.
And I don't know, what's the youngest? What's the age range? What was the youngest?
So the youngest we have are 3-year-olds, and then we take up to adults. So the oldest student I had was 45, and she was studying to be a nurse. So there was a lot of things on the placement test and the Accupacer that she forgot. So she started doing Kumon with addition and subtraction, and worked her way all the way up to Algebra 2. And she, went ahead and took the test for nursing school and then got into nursing school because of Kumon. So we do 3, as long as they potty trained, they're able to kind of go to the bathroom by themselves. They can come to the center, and then we don't stop at any age. You can take the classes at any age. But the curriculum goes up to 12th grade level math and reading.
So am I to understand, you can go, when you say you can go at your own pace, meaning there's some kids who may take a long time to complete stuff, but then there's others who will just whiz through them really quickly?
Yes, it's all about the working skills. Yes, if someone needs a little bit more time to complete the worksheets, we will give them that much time. Either we give them a little bit more time or we cut down the work load. So I would, instead of me giving them an hour to complete it, I will still keep it in that 30-minute mark, but just give them half of the worksheets versus giving them 10 pages a day, which is even a lot easier for them.
So what you're saying, even if someone, the goal is just to keep doing stuff daily, is the goal?
Yes, we want you to come, do it as many, like daily, 7 days a week. You come to the center twice a week. We'll show you how to do it, and help you fix your mistakes. And then we want you to practice at home. It's just like going to the gym. If you have a goal at mind, you want to lose 20 pounds, you're not going to lose it by going to the gym one day out the week. You have to consistently be doing something to be better at it. And we want to keep that same momentum as well. And eventually it's going to be part of their regular to do. Like you get up, go to work, you get up, brush your teeth, get ready for school. They get in the habit of doing Kumon on a regular basis as well.
Yep. And it's important that, competition is good, but too much competition can be harmful to our children, right? And so we focus on the child. So we compare that child to who that child was a month ago or 2 months ago, right? The idea of comparing that child to another child, it does more, in my opinion, it does more harm than good, because every child's different, right? Just because I'm not so good at math, I have other things that I'm really good at, right? And it's important that all of us, we're all very unique, and so we want to make sure that we focus on the child and not sort of comparing children to one another.
Exactly.
I think there's a quote that says I always mess up quotes. You should be better than you were yesterday. So I think to that is that's just against yourself. So that's
exactly.
Yes.
Hogging the questions. Does anyone else have any questions for the team?
Please unmute yourselves.
Don't be like me, having a conversation on mute.
Let's see. Oh, they can type it in the chat box as well.
So, then if no one has a question, a lot of our people, as I had mentioned, don't have a lot of members who are in the Maryland area at this point. However, you said that I think there's been some good COVID-19, and I think the good part is that we've learned that we've been able to cross places, right? Even though someone does not live in Rockville or in the area of Rockville, Maryland, they can still register with you all and be in Virginia or wherever. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So what we've been having to do because of the COVID is, so I'm having to mail out the placement test. So the students will do the placement test at home and parents will mail it back to me so I can know where the starting point is. And then from there, I'll do a plan, and month-to-month basis, I will be mailing out the worksheets for the whole entire month. So even prior to COVID, we only had classes twice a week, and that is just so we could keep that, work from home mentality and that self-learning going. So students will work from home 5 days out the week and come in twice a week. But now we just have to kind of shift over to Zoom. So Rahul, he teaches other tutors as well. He does Zoom for the higher level math, and then I will work with the reading kids on other days as well. So they can just log on Zoom, just like how we're doing now, answer their questions, work with Rahul and other tutors, and then do the work by themselves. And once they finish a level, just mail it back to me. We'll grade it, make sure it's accurate, and then give you a placement achievement test, and then get you on to the next level.
Nice.
So it's been difficult, but it hasn't been that far off from what we were doing in the beginning stages as well.
Nice. We're at about just a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want to say before we end?
No one asked about the cost. So in case anyone doesn't know, it's $145 a month per each subject. If you wanted to do one subject, it will be $145. If you wanted to do two, it will be $290 a month. If you have more than one child, we do offer a discount. Instead of it being $145, we'll make it $130 for each child per each subject. And it's good to sign up for the month of July because right now Kumon is running a special where we're waiving the $50 off registration. So that's a little bit of savings for a lot of people. You don't have to worry about paying the additional $50 when you register your child.
Great. And I think for me, again, that's, you know, if for parents, I enjoyed having you on here because while parents are trying to figure out what to do with their children, how to manage children in this COVID era, we're just trying to give them, like last week, virtual circles. We used to do them weekly, but now we're doing them bi-weekly. And the last program we did, we had other community partners join that was discussing academic coaching, and also Lightspawn, who do workshops for students, and they have a workshop coming up. Lightspawn does called, let me pull it up, or if the founder is on, she can speak, but let me pull it up.
It's called Lights On. Is that what you?
Their organization is called Lightspawn, and they have they do workshops for kids in ages 7 to 11. So since COVID-19, this is going to be their first online workshop. They do workshops in person, but in addition, their workshops, since like you mentioned, we're going through a lot with the racial inequality and Black Lives Matter movement, and parents are asking, how do I teach kids about racism? And they came up with a workshop called The Weight of Words. And what they're teaching is acceptance, tolerance, stereotype, and personal power for students who are ages 7 to 11. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's every Wednesday, and their fee is $35. If you're on Facebook, or if I'm going to actually put my information in the chat, but if you're on Facebook, we do have their flyer on our Facebook page. But if you need other information about other summer programs, you can also reach out to MOMnetwork for other information. But just for those who logged on a little later, my name is Shelly McKinney, and I'm the founder of MOMnetwork. I think we lost some people now too. And our goal is to empower, engage, establish programs for moms and their families. So I'm very happy again to have you all join. We recorded it. So
I said, thanks for having us.
Oh, no, definitely. I think as parents try to navigate this new norm, we have to make sure that we get information for our children so that they stay busy. And so this is definitely, I'm aboard with this. Again, I have an 18 and 20-year-old, but I'm definitely rallying for this. This is really good. So,
thank you.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you at the next circle. Assalamu alaikum.
Maalaikum salam. Bye.